Business Express on Smooth 98.1
Mike's
in association.
In time for Business Express this Thursday morning. Hi, Rotus. Good morning.
Good morning, Valentine. Good morning, Lagos City.
Good morning. And we have Dele joining us this morning. Hi, Dele.
Hi, how are you?
Good to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
Lagos, be part of the conversation. Go on Twitter. Tweet at Smooth981FM. You'll find us there. And of course, use the hashtag BusinessExpress981. Also, send a message to WhatsApp at 0809 440 981.
Thank you, sir. So, Lagos, Nigeria, everybody listening around the world, fifth day now in negative territory for the all-share index, down by 0.25% yesterday, 40,150.5 points. So far this year, the market is up by 4.9%. 15 stocks gained in value, 28 declined. Ikeja Hotel was our top gainer. I think it's 2 days in a row now that Ikeja Hotel has been the top gainer on the exchange. I think by 18% now over the last couple of days. UACN PLC was the top loser yesterday, down by 8.5%. We're at 364 naira to the dollar, so that's depreciated a bit on the parallel market. Daily, help us. I think we're going to go I don't know, around the world in emerging markets. It's not looking pretty out there. What's happening?
So I think we need to put some context around what's happening globally on a global basis. The US today, the dollar is stronger today. Number two, you have the US 10-year Treasury bills trading at about 3%, right? When that happens, when the currency gets stronger in the US, right, what happens? It has impact on emerging markets. Okay, so ultimately, when you look at what's happened in Argentina, right, what you see there is the currency has lost north of 20%.
I think they're one of the worst performing currencies
this year. That's impact on the currency, the market. So those are sort of the things that happen when the US gets stronger. You've seen the same thing in Turkey. There's an election coming up there. So when the rates go up in the US, it has impacts on emerging markets, right? And there'll be capital outflows and all of that stuff. So we've seen currencies devalue in emerging markets. So when you think of a portfolio manager who manages emerging markets, right, you have a bucket of countries you're managing, right?
Yeah.
You are having a blowout in Argentina, literally.
Right.
Having a blowout in Turkey. So you're losing money in those markets, right? The bigger problems. You have big problems on your plates,
yes,
right? When you compare
indeed.
it to smaller markets like Nigeria or Kenya or those markets within Sub-Saharan Africa.
Okay.
So I think that when I bring it home, right, we look at Nigeria and look at, the market has really been in a lull where there hasn't been, volumes have been this small. The performance as well, you can see that it's not the market is not going down 1%, it's going down 0.25% in 5 days. So it's not significant, it doesn't keep me awake at night. But when you look at Nigeria, I think in the last 2 years, the sun, the moon, and the stars are aligned for us.
Yeah, right? You think so?
No, I mean, let's look at some of the numbers, right?
Yeah.
The currency is relatively stable. The oil price is up at north of 80%. Inflation is coming down.
Yeah.
You have what else should we look at? I mean,
foreign reserves. The reserves have been going up.
GDP is now 2%.
Positive.
In the last 2 years, right, when we look at all these different matrices, right, Nigeria is looking like we're in a better place. I think the only two things you would worry about is the fact that the election's coming. I don't think the elections that we're seeing in 2019, the risk are as high as what we saw in the last election.
In 2015, right?
I think the only other concern is the economy remains tight, money's not really flowing. But when I speak to market operators, I met with the country manager of ShopRite last week. He's saying things like, Moe has become the fastest moving product on our lines now.
How about that?
Yeah, consumption is changing, patterns are changing. You can see some optimism in the economy where people are beginning to do more, eat more.
Right.
And I don't think we're there yet, but I'm just saying we are in a better place as a country. And I don't think, so I really think that the market has not really reflected the kind of bullish sentiments that I ascribe to.
Okay. So if that's the case, for anybody out there that's looking at the market now, is this would we say this is a good opportunity for perhaps bargain hunting, I guess, for hopping in there as far as the market is concerned?
So for me, I like setting names, right, in the market, right? And I think I try to look at, the past tells you what is expected in the future. The companies that have delivered strong numbers even when things were tough.
Okay.
And I think that as the economy picks up, companies will pick up, companies will do better.
Okay.
Right? So when we look at the banking sector, we like names like Zenith Bank, we like GT Bank, we like StanbicIBTC itself.
Yeah.
These are all strong ROE banks. these are all banks that will deliver numbers in 20. I think there's been a question around sustainability of earnings. I
Right.
think these banks will do well.
Perform, okay.
Right. And I think when you think of the loan book of banks, right, 40% is in the oil and gas sector, right? Oil price at 80, right? And I had a friend over the weekend says, oil price at 80, now we can have seedless grapes, right? So when you think of all of that, even the loans that were not performing in the oil and gas ones will come back into green territory. Yeah, largely because of an oil price play. The Nestle's of this world, the Comos of this world. These are interesting names that I think I will still play in.
And of course, we can't forget our richest man in Africa, what he's doing over with.
I guess as well in the cement space, Dangote obviously as well.
Okay, I would be remiss not to mention what's happening in Ghana, considering the fact that we just had our MPC. In fact, I should actually get your thoughts on this. What were your thoughts on the MPC outcome? Because Ghana just had their equivalent of our MPC meeting, and they cut their rates, and I think they have their own inflation outlook. I think you give us some insight on that, but I want to get your thoughts on what happened over the last couple of days.
So in the I think Monday morning, right, we had our usual morning meeting, and we had that on the floor argument. What did we expect to happen? I think majority thought no changes, right? And I thought and you probably haven't come my way, but I felt that there is scope to want to cut, right?
I don't
think we're there yet,
right?
But there's scope to cut to the extent that inflation is also trending down. GDP is up as well. I think the concerns, and when you look at the votes, right, 8 out of the MCC members voted to hold, keep everything
stable. Yeah.
Surprisingly, one of the members felt they should hike.
Really? I haven't even looked.
Okay. On basis that we're going to an election cycle, we're going to be spending a lot,
and inflation is going to ramp up,
exactly.
and so on.
One person voted otherwise. I think ultimately, we keep speaking to the FX market. We've seen also as well. I guess with the global emerging things happening in the global markets, we've seen increasingly more outflows from an FX perspective. So there's been more outgoings versus incomings, which is why you probably see as well when you look at the black market, you look at the rates, you see that the rates have moved up to 364 as what you said this morning. So there is actually again more demand for outflows, and you've also seen that yields have picked up in the bond market as well. So
so those factors kind of fed into them deciding to stay where they are.
Yes, I think for now, that's where the risks are that we're still not comfortable. I think the concerns that number one, the economy is not growing, so the banks are not lending. That's one. I think the second thing is obviously the fact that election monies are going to come in the next couple of months as well.
Oh, okay. So, but our neighbors, they have.
So Ghana is in a stable place right now.
Yeah.
They are largely in line with they performed in line with their IMF expectations. The inflation has played out the way they wanted it to be. So there was room. Ghana also produces oil now, so $80 will help their economy.
There was a whole debate about us also taking loans from the IMF. Of course, where our president stands on that. So people were divided. Ghana, of course, took loans from it. I think Egypt did as well. Where were you in that debate? No, were you? You went?
Nah.
No. Okay. All right. Moving from there, let's look at the power sector. I want to combine a couple stories here. First. The headline here, I don't know why we're still looking at February's invoices. Don't have anything for March yet. But from the power sector, it says that discos are owing GenCos about 33 billion in February. 8 out of the 11 discos have remitted just 11 billion only from an invoice of 44 billion, meaning that there's still about 33 left that has been unpaid. They go down here to list which of the discos. In fact, 3 of them haven't paid anything. The 3 discos that didn't remit anything at all: the Kaduna disco, Port Harcourt, and Yola. Of course, leading the way, the ones that actually paid: the Ikeja disco, Echo disco, and then I believe Ibadan disco as well. The power sector, I was watching something on TV yesterday, a healthy discussion on this sector. There's still this, I don't know. I think this is our number one issue in the country. This doesn't seem to have any end. I mean, there's still this backlog of payments and what's been going on. What do you see
the
things?
Power sector is a very difficult one, right? Because it's difficult to unlock. It's a value chain. You have GenCos, in transmission, in the middle, distribution. So the question is, you need to be able to, when you produce power on the generation side, you put on the transmission line, say to disk. The problem now, the thing is, you have to get the discos to collect, to pay everybody back. It's a value chain, right? Now, when you think of, I think we get carried away because we're in Lagos, right? In Lagos, I think everyone's really relatively well off to pay. So you can see that the guys who are even remitting are mostly in Lagos, right? When you think of going to other places in the north, where even in Lagos here, where if you go and cut the wires, the boys waiting for you downstairs.
Right.
Are you going to come down from the pole?
Right. Exactly.
So it is difficult to collect. And then when you think of cost, right? Gas is a fixed price. It's benchmarked to dollars as well. I think the case that has been made by the GenCos is that we want to increase price, and but again, I know the court case puts in an injunction and all that. So again, the tariff is not reflective of cost. Right? So it's really difficult to manage that value chain, which is why I think when people went into the power sector, they thought it was going to be a telco boom, but it's not. And I think I was speaking to one bank, and one of the things they said is, when we look at the telco space and why we didn't enter it is when you don't see a General Electric or the big
players
come to play, they just thought, it's not an economy, it's not a sector for us to be lending to.
Yeah.
And that was, so yeah, I don't really think we're still able to monetize the end-to-end value chain.
Doesn't seem to have any. Okay, let's try and end.
I think one interesting thing is I understand that we've had all these talks about 15 billion during Obasanjo.
The whole him and Buhari going back and forth. I understand that
because apparently those equipments were actually brought into the country, but they've actually been lying fallow. With customs or whatever. I heard that some of those assets are being deployed now. And I heard our transmission capacity is actually about 8,000 megawatts now. So there are actually some things that are happening in the background that we don't know.
Right.
But there are certain improvements. I get 24 hours power mostly.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Well, that's your estate, yeah? That's an estate thing.
No. It's actually straight,
These stories, I keep hearing these stories of people.
Do you live in Nigeria?
There are pockets of, I don't know. I think I'm on the high premium line, but I get 22 hours out of 24.
Okay, the show is over. The show is pretty much over. We're going to talk after the camera goes off.
It makes me feel like you're elite, man. Thanks for coming in and make us feel.
Valentine, we'll have to move. We'll have to move to where
we do this weekend possibly. Lagos, stay optimistic with that. At top of the hour, we'll be looking at Frankly Speaking with Muyiwa Falabi, and right after that, 7:30, be time for detailed news analysis inside of Freshly Pressed. Good morning.
The headlines.
I'll send you the
World business news from